welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Turn the Page. I'm your host today, Jen, and today I am joined by the creator of an absolutely beautiful graphic novel. It is absolutely just a delightful read, and it's beautiful to look at, beautiful to consider this really fascinating world that the work presents. And I'm so excited for this conversation. So welcome. Could I ask you to introduce yourself and your book, please?
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Hi, everybody. My name's Anna-Laura Sullivan, and I'm a comic artist and cartoonist originally from Nebraska, now in Brooklyn. And this book is The Marsh Fellows, and it follows a little rascal and this elderly couple trying to uncover a mystery in a swamp. And it was a delight to make. And I'm primarily a cartoonist. I use a lot of watercolor in my work, but this book is digital.
Nice. Could you tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist and as a comics creator? At what point in your journey did you decide to, branch into narrative art?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. I think, like most creatives, I've been drawing. I was drawing ever since I could hold a crayon, and I think my first comics, I actually couldn't even write yet. So my mom would like write it for me, and I'd draw the pictures, and yeah, she'd fill it in. So I was always making comics. I really like that art form. And then I went to school for illustration, and I ended up really gravitating towards comics. I think I wanted to do film and TV for a long time, but then I really missed drawing. And then there was something about comics where I could like continue to expand as an artist and play around with more narrative. And it just kind of was a match made in heaven. But I didn't really find my footing there until I started to post on social media. And then I kind of really developed my style and built a bit of an audience that way.
So what was the inception point for the Marsh Fellows? Was it a particular character that came to you first, the setting, a mood, or a color? Like the colors are, I have questions about the color later.
Thank you. It was such an interesting story. It actually kind of, I don't know if you've ever felt this, but I kind of felt like it downloaded into my head almost all at once. I was on a really long run, and sometimes I do that to clear my head, but in this case, I kind of got like my head full, and it was like a rainy night, and the sky felt like really heavy and dome-like, and I felt like I was like in another world, and I just started daydreaming and was in such a meditative space that the story kind of just started to unfold really in that run. And then I like ran right home and then opened my laptop and tried to get it all down. But it was really fun. I'm very grateful that I gave myself enough space for like a whole idea to fit in.
Could you tell us a little bit about the urchin at the heart of the story, as well as the Marshfellows, Marvin and Pearl? I'd love to know about shaping their characters and their relationships, especially with regards to the themes that you wanted to explore with the story.
Yeah, I really like these characters. I'm very drawn to like rascal type characters. I think I had a lot of energy growing up and I wasn't sure like where to put it or how to make it fit into a room. So those characters are a lot of fun and very healing to work on and write. So he was a delight to draw, and the design itself was like really fun to draw. And then the elderly couple are actually based off my own grandparents loosely. Like it's a very cartoonified, upped version of them, but their relationship was so inspiring to me. Like they like up until the very end, like they were so lovey and they like had such a heavy crush on each other and it was so cute. And I was really moved by them. And so I was like everything that every character dynamic I want to like have it grounded in something very true and um admirable I've found in real life and then try to like show it through these characters. Yeah, and they were really fun too. Actually, halfway through writing it though, I learned they were like almost too similar because my grandparents are really similar too. So kind of like giving them their own voices and worlds ended up being uh a bit more of a challenge towards the end, but it was one that was really fun.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, their
Yeah.
personalities are such lovely compliments to each other, and there's
Mm.
so much warmth and humor too. It's also
Good,
very
good. I'm glad.
funny. Let's see. Oh, um, Slumber City. Could you talk about your approach to world building, both in the writing and in the illustrations? Very curious about how they work together and how your use of color and darkness sort of help to do that work.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, these are great questions. Thank you. I loved a moody atmospheric tone. I think that was really interesting to me. And I think when I first wrote this, which was quite a few years ago, my approach to writing was like build a universe first and know it so inside and out that when the characters are moving through it, I'm kind of more observing than like directing. And they're doing their own thing and I'm like witnessing and like taking notes on what they're doing. And I spent a lot of time in the world. I literally like in my imagination would kind of just like go into rooms and go into broom closets and see how it would work and try to really envision what a world where it's constantly raining would feel like and what no sun that experience would be like. And there's a lot of things that I didn't fit into the book of like gyms where there's just like a sun lamp and like all these like different like cultures and customs in this little universe. And that to me is really fun and exciting. There's this Ray Bradbury short story about a planet of constant rain. Have you read that one? Oh my
I
gosh. Oh, it's so good. It's like um unbelievable. But like that was so moving to me. And then every time I like pulled out of this daydream world, I was so much more appreciative of this world. I'm like, yeah. Um, but yeah, a lot of just like spending time in it was really nice. And that I moved to New York around the same time, and it was like such a densely packed city, and it was really gray when I first got there. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm so inspired by this tone. It really is very moving.
Mm. Well, that is so interesting. And
Mhm.
those details that you mentioned, like the lamps, that does a lot of the work of suggesting not just like the post-apocalyptic setting,
Mm,
but the sort of like lived in, like
yeah.
the apocalyptic is no longer even it's been normalized, like we're
Mhm.
used to it now. Like I
Right,
think
exactly.
oftentimes in like film or literature, when we say post-apocalyptic, we're really talking about like during or I guess
Mhm.
peri-apocalyptic,
Yeah,
this is
everything's decayed, and this is kind of like um almost like tropical fish living inside fish bones, like of an old whale skeleton, like it's already been done and then it's rebuilt on top. Like life continuing on has always been like a very interesting theme for me.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
that is a really important one here. And
Mm.
I think like the bright pops of color and the use of
Mm.
shadow have a lot to do with that too. A lot of the sort of like the driving ideas are, like finding ways to maintain the light. I think in dark times, whether that's like, meteorological or
Mhm.
elsewise,
Mhm.
and that feels like, it's very cozy, but it also feels like pretty urgent storytelling at this particular moment in
Cool.
time and space.
Oh, perfect. Ah, thank you. That was a goal, definitely.
Great. Let's see. So a little bit more about character design.
Mm.
I'd love to know, sort of specifically, like designing a character over the course of a story. Because, obviously there's growth, but your characters are also very like they're very expressive, right? And I think that like the sort of the range of facial expressions allows you to sort of like also track like emotional journeys. Did that make sense?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. There's definitely like more attention to detail like later when they kind of are more self-developed in a way, like their expressions change from like more cartoony to more like observed. Yeah, I loved it. Back in school, because I went to school for illustration at SCAD, and at the time I thought I was going to do animation, and this was initially a pitch Bible for like an animated show, and they really stressed to like exaggerate your characters and make them like each distinct shape. So I started with like a square, a star, and a circle, and then like moved out from there. And I think that also was similar to like developing personalities. You start with like a core personality and kind of like build out from there. But yeah, something I'm learning is like start simple and then like expand later. So that was fun.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Hmm.
So in terms of then working with your team to make the comic happen, I'd love to know how the sort of various collaborations came to be. I'm not sure, always what the creator's role is in sort of like bringing the team together. But yeah, what was that creative collaboration like?
Yeah, so fun. So for this, I actually had two editors halfway through the process. I think the company I was working for got absorbed by a bigger company, and so they changed my editors halfway. And previously, the first editor and I, we were very like, it was almost like co-written. Like we were both very mutually working on the same. And then when it switched, it was like a different approach, so we kind of had to recalibrate our working styles. And I've never worked on a graphic novel before, so I'm also learning, and that was great. And credit to everyone that I worked with, Megan Brown and Chris Staros, my editors. Like they're both like so wonderful and very receptive and gave great notes, and I learned a lot. And then I did both the illustration and the writing, and they were very gracious with me, like learning how to write and exploring styles. I think like, oh my gosh, because the process took so long because of that like little acquisition blip, I think I tried like five, six different art styles, and I had like 20 pages of like a radically different style. Like at one point, like I gave them like watercolor painted pages, and they're like, "This is this is a lot. Like you just should stick to what you were working with." Because I've never worked with a project for that long. I like previously I would just do the longest thing I made up to that point was like 20 pages, and this one is like 200 or so. And so like learning how to stay with something was like great for me. Yeah. So I tried a lot of different, because like you try something, you're like, oh, this, my intuition is telling me that this one's better, but you kind of have agreed to something, so you gotta like work with that. And
Mm.
then the other person I worked with, Haley Rose, did the text, and I think she did a great job. My editor chose her, and I'm so grateful. I think she did wonderful, and the text really like brought it together, and she had full creative freedom and like did a great job. So I'm very proud of everyone.
Wow. Yeah, that is so interesting to live with a project for that long,
Oh
which
my gosh.
is
Yeah.
definitely something that can happen when you are writing like full-length comics like that.
Mhm.
What were your ways of keeping that fresh for yourself? Like, do you switch up between like creative phases, or like how do you kind of keep your head in the game?
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good question. And I feel like we should all talk about it. So we have like tools. I had a hard time. I definitely learned about like once the inspiration has run out, the discipline of sticking with the project, and it helped immensely to have like four things going at the same time. I think while I was working on that book, I also had a full-time job, and then I was built like making comics for social media. I was getting back into oil painting. I was making a couple pitches for children's books. So like whenever I felt fatigue in an area, I was able to like move around. And I think that was really good. Like you get stiff if you just stay in the same way for too long. So that for me, that creative process of like multiple things helped me so much. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they informed each other too. Like if like even like going outside and like going for runs and playing soccer. Like when I came back to my desk, I felt like more fresh and I was excited about the project again. So yeah, I definitely think having multiple really helped me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I imagine that, especially when you're under deadline, it
Yeah.
can feel like
Yeah.
you really need to be in a constant state of focus. But like,
Hmm.
working on any long-term project, I feel like you sort of come to learn that like that time away is also productive. Like that sort of where like something does happen when it's on the back burner, where like you can come back to it with some new ideas and a new perspective.
Definitely. The creative process is so strange too. I don't know if you felt this. It's very mysterious. Like sometimes I can sit down and like you just have like a lightning rod in your head and you can just really be in flow state so easily. And then there's other times you can sit for hours and really not be in a generative space. And so yeah, it's not really something you can push, but you just have to be present for. And that is difficult with deadlines and like trying to like have a timeline of trying to like take that mysterious world and then putting it in the logical material world where you have to um deliver things to people.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
And like it's a physical process too. Like
Yeah.
I have written comics, but I have, collaborated with a longtime artist, and it's much more physically taxing for her, than it is for me because
Mm,
you're working at desks and they're, like you are constantly, like you have to also sort of take the physical breaks too, so that you
true.
don't sort of burn out and
Yeah.
become, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So,
Definitely.
mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. So on that note, I imagine, you want to spend a little bit of time not working on another super long-term project. But do you think you'll write another graphic novel? What's in your future?
So funny, I actually like do miss it. I think once I got a taste for like how rewarding it is to like see something like that through and like um yeah, it's wonderful. And also like the thrill and the artistic push of like taking a story all the way through is really exciting to me. I've always loved children's books. I think like I really admire and respect when people can like take something huge and profound and make it very simple. I think that's like so powerful to me, and I think like my craft would improve a lot by trying children's books, and like my life would improve a lot by learning how to simplify. Like honestly, everything I do selfishly is like to learn how to live better, like like how to participate in life better, how to participate in love better, and like the craft I choose kind of is reflecting that practice. Graphic novels are so fun. I don't know if you follow me on social media, but like that kind of world is very exciting to me, and continuing to make little Sunday strip style is great. So much. Oh my God, I love animation.
Oh,
I
that's
want to do everything. I think my North Star really is children's books just because children are the best audience without a doubt. Like they're so wise, and I feel like if um you can speak to a child, like you've really cracked a universe code. So that is something I hope to do someday. Well, yeah.
That's such a great point. Because recently I was watching my niece watch a movie, and
Mm,
at some point in the movie, there was, to me, like a 40 something who has seen many, many, many movies, like a very clearly telegraphed, like very obvious sort of plot twist.
uh-huh.
But I was watching her and she was just like, she's like, oh my gosh, she was just like
Oh,
absolutely mind blown
in it. It's all
by
so
this.
fresh.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, just like getting to experience stories for the first time too, and getting to be a part
Yeah.
of that is like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. And you get to do it with them too. Like through their openness, you also get to like be awake to that. And yeah, it's just really wonderful.
Mm. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and for sharing your work with us. It's, yeah, absolutely lovely.
Oh, thanks. You too. This was fun. We should hang out.
Yes. Amazing. All right. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. Please check out the Marsh Fellows. By the time that you hear this, it'll be out in the world. So you could head to your favorite graphic novel comic book store, I guess is what they call them, comic store, library, bookstore, if you like to go for your books.
Awesome.
All right. It is now time to close this chapter. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.